Jakub Grajcar. Standards. Standards. Jakub Grajcar.
I think our contest chair just gave me the perfect introduction. Have you ever noticed how during Toastmasters meetings, you're supposed to mention the name of every speech twice? Did you just hear the word standards twice? Well, dear Toastmasters and guests, thanks for paying attention, because today I won't be talking about standards, but about double standards. To bring everyone up to speed, a double standard is a situation in which two groups of people are judged according to different sets of rules when they should be treated in the same way. It's a kind of discrimination that can be based on gender, race, or even musical taste. To me, it's kind of similar to the situation in a typical marriage. People should be treated equally, but they aren't. And when it comes to double standards, they are visible all around us, as I hope to show you right now with 3 excellent examples. Let us begin at the very end, with characters kicking the bucket. When a character dies in a movie, there's a scale of emotions that we tend to feel. On one side of the scale, there's any character played by Sean Bean. I know some of you in the audience recognize the actor. He played Boromir in Lord of the Rings, Ned Stark in Game of Thrones, and he is obviously cursed because any character he plays almost always dies. And when it happens, our reaction is usually nothing more than I saw that coming. Then in the middle of the scale, we have scenes of epic, fiery destruction, such as when Darth Vader blows up an entire planet full of people in Star Wars. And yet, when it happens, you don't really think about the billions of lives lost, the billions who will never get to see Episode 7. Then again, maybe they're lucky. No, rather you're thinking about Darth Vader. And what you're thinking is, that guy is a certified bastard. And yet, there's something even worse. On the far end of the scale, there's something even worse than the death of an entire planet or an entire galaxy. The absolute worst death scene in a movie is when somebody kills a puppy. Darth Vader may be a certified bastard, but we have to get that other guy first. He shot Bonnie. Did you know that there's even a website called doesthedogdie.com where you can check, it does what it says. You can check in advance whether Bonnie or Rusty or Sparkles is going to survive until the end of the movie, just in case you don't want to spend the rest of the week depressed. But before there can be death in a movie, there has to be action. So let's move now to action heroes. More specifically to how the genders are represented in action movies. Think about the typical male action hero. You guys are probably thinking about the Terminator, John McClane, maybe Rambo. These characters are kind of like monster trucks on a muddy road. They're massive, they are almost unstoppable in their efforts. They get more and more dirty as they move forward, and they seem indestructible. And yet, something even more indestructible than a monster truck or the Terminator is the makeup on the faces of female action heroes. Characters like Katniss Everdeen in The Hunger Games or the Black Widow in The Avengers. They are fighting for their survival with little access to food, water, or sleep, but they seem to have an endless supply of lipstick, mascara, various hair products. I don't know what Black Widow is using to protect her fabulous hair, but we should be making tanks out of that stuff, not hairspray. Finally, let me finish it off with a double standard that discriminates towards men for a change. I would like you to imagine that we are writing a movie script right here and right now. It goes something like this. A somewhat shy, somewhat attractive girl meets a regular guy and falls in love with him. But since she is somewhat shy, she doesn't want to meet him face to face. Instead, she follows him around, secretly takes pictures of him, sends him text messages like, "Hey there, sexy. Moi, moi. It's Cindy. Heart, heart." A question to the guys in the audience. If this were to happen to you, how would you feel? Probably completely relaxed. We would look at our cell phones, think, nice, and then move on with our lives. But now, let's rewind the scenario and reverse the roles. The new script goes something like this. A somewhat shy, somewhat attractive guy meets a regular girl and falls in love with her. But since he is somewhat shy, we all know the script, but now everything sounds different, doesn't it? He starts following her around, secretly taking pictures of her, sending her text messages. "Hey there, sexy. Moi, moi. It's Brian. Heart, heart." I'm sorry, but if that were to happen, the next scene with that guy would have to be either in court or in jail. What I'm trying to leave you with here is that double standards are kind of like racist jokes. They are funny sometimes, but you really shouldn't repeat them. Instead, what we should strive to do is to treat each other fairly and equally. We should try to be excellent to each other. We should try not to hate. Well, maybe with one teeny tiny little exception. Because the guy who killed that puppy has got to go!